Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 3 of How to Draw. This is how to draw the male torso. We're just going to draw some basic shapes in this video. And then towards the end, I'm going to give you somewhat of an idea of what the torso can look like with a little bit more detail. Here I'm just writing some notes about the torso. Just trying to show you how it can be broken down into simple shapes. This shape here is essentially the easiest way that I know how to draw the shape of a torso. Right there, that's it. That's the easiest way I know that makes sense to me how to do it. So you draw like this wedge shape on the top, and then you can draw like a rectangular section underneath that for where the abdomen would go. Yeah, I'm writing here the torso is like a wedge. Also, the torso can also be drawn as a triangular shape. This is for more heroic type men, like broad shoulders, thin waist. You could just make a cartoon character and draw it just with that. You don't even need to put anatomy in. You could draw a whole character just based on these very, very simple shapes. I might try that sometime. It might be fun. But that's essentially the shape of a torso is a triangular, like an upside down triangle. The first couple shapes that I drew are a little bit less triangular, but are like they're a little bit more realistic. If you could even call it realism. But again, this is the basic shape that I've come up with to represent a torso for males, and this is the easiest way that I know how to get something again down on paper relatively quickly. It's basically just two shapes. It's the first shape there, and then the second shape, which is for the abdomen. Some of these notes that I'm writing are basically what I'm thinking while I'm drawing. So I wrote them so you can also read them while I'm drawing. But it's like what I'm thinking about at the same time. So here's the torso from the 3/4 view. Put the neck in. So what I just drew there, that little squiggle, that's basically, I drew the back of the torso. So because it's a 3/4 angle, so you would see the side and some of the back, just a little bit of it. But again, you don't have to start your figure drawings so complicated. There's many different methods to draw the torso. Like you can draw a rounded oval, you can draw circles. I mean, I've tried every method, and this is the method that really just works the best for me. It's the easiest for my brain to understand it, where I draw like a more triangular shape for the torso again. I don't believe there's any wrong way to draw something. There's only drawings that look like they're incorrect. But as far as how to draw something, I don't really believe that there's a right or wrong way. I spent so many years in college being told that I was doing it wrong. I mean, technically I was, but there's really not a right or wrong way to draw. I mean, if your end result ends up being the same as someone else's, go for it. Here I'm just trying to show a twisting. I'm just trying to show like a rectangular box, what it would look like if it was twisting. The torso can move and twist and twist around. We're going to get into that a little bit more later. I'll probably do separate videos on how to do that because that's more complicated. Again, just drawing another shape here, trying to get it to twist around. And what's the other thing that I just thought of mentioning is sometimes these shapes will change too based on the movement of your figure. It might not be that triangle shape anymore. Once you decide you want your figure to move, it might change and the shape might completely become something different. So that's something to keep in mind. So here I'm drawing the torso kind of bending backwards, showing a little bit more detail of what it could look like bending backwards. And then, I just started with that simple shape and then added the muscles on top of it. Again, this is not a series about muscles right now, but I'm just showing you some of the muscles that you can draw in. Oh, I'm just saying, I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm writing as I'm watching this, so I'm just saying you can add more detail in. So, what I like about these shapes is they're very simple to figure out. It's not that difficult to figure out how to draw these. It's basically, I don't know the name of it, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like a 6-sided shape. And if you can get this shape, then there's your torso. Here's the torso from the side, what it might look like from the side. So you have the back that curves, and then you have the pecs in the front that angle down, and then the abdomen actually curves in. It doesn't, unless you have a belly and you're overweight. But I mean, the abdomen kind of curves inward. It doesn't just go straight down. Here's another view. I think this is another 3/4 view, I think. Yep. So really, I'm just drawing this shape over and over and over again. And this is what I recommend. If you want to learn how to draw these over and over and over. Really, the way that I drew this shape, it kind of has some of the back muscles visible. I wouldn't say that it's a completely realistic representation of what a torso looks like, but for drawing purposes, this is what works for me. So again, it's not completely realistic, but it's art. We're not going for photorealism. But I really recommend drawing these simple shapes for everything we've learned so far. Do it multiple times to try to get it in your muscle memory, building up that muscle memory. Yep, just keep drawing these over and over. Draw a lot of them is what I wrote. Yep, that's a torso in the simplest form. Obviously, there's no perspective or anything. It's just a straight view, but that's basically it. Here it is again from the side. I'm drawing this a little bit, maybe with too many sides. I mean, you can draw it without the extra cut in that I did on the top there. Like, I mean, if I was to use this as a guide to draw a full torso, really what you'd be seeing is actually part of the back, and really technically the abs are a little bit too thin on some of these, but like I said, we're not going for realism necessarily. Just keep drawing these over and over. The more you do this, the easier it's going to get. I'm going to draw some more here. Oh, I'm just explaining there's a lot of different ways to draw a torso. Yeah, this is what I'm saying here is this is the easiest one for me to understand. I didn't really make this up. I actually saw something similar to this on Pinterest a while ago, and I said, that's a really good way to draw a torso. It's very easy. And so I've been practicing that ever since. Here what I'm doing is I'm just giving you a little bit of an example of what a torso might look like when it's got a little bit more anatomy drawn in. Again, this isn't perfect. I could spend more time than I did on this and make it nicer than it ended up being. But this is an example of what you can do with all the practice that we did earlier, and you can take that practice and turn it into this. Drawing the abs in. We'll get into abs. We'll get into the chest. The chest is actually the next video. Two videos from now, sorry. But we'll get into how to draw the chest. I'm going to go over separate things. I'm going to go over all of that separately. So under the ribs, it curves in just a little bit. On muscular people, it curves inward just a little. And that's why I shaded under that underneath. My neck actually looks a little too short in this one. Like I said, I could spend more time, but this is just an example. My neck looks a little too short. Like I could probably lengthen it just a little bit and it would be right. So anyway, that's it for drawing the torso, the male torso, episode 3. Hope you learned something. Hope to see you in the next one. See you later.